This is a small path that only the trained eye can see. See where the sunlight is and see where the dirt is. It's just hard to really tell because you're not out here with me. But I'm walking down this path and the deer come this way and the fawns and the does come this way and the bucks come this way. And a lot of times I will clean things out. I clean this out a little bit because the camera needs to be able to sense movement. But I left this little spot up here, these leaves, because you'd be surprised that deer, they can stand up on their hind legs, they can get that and might get some good footage. So the camera's actually on right now and I'm testing it. I always test it before I leave. Things should run right by it. If the pass is an indicator, it should go and run right by it and then run around that tree down there on the left. So people think, oh, how cool. You know, you get these cool shots of videos and cool videos, but it's all because of planning and trial and error. And this camera is set for the week. I'm going to show you what it's going to be looking at one last time. Small path right there. You can barely see it. But I know from experience, right between those two trees right there in the middle, that's where they come running through. Okay, I was right. So about roughly maybe one day after I set up my trail camera, this is what took place. A couple deer coming down the path, just like I thought was going to happen. And you see the first one there, that's a female. And the second one behind her is a buck. I think that these two are actually brother and sister based on their age and appearance. So looks like they might be getting bothered by some flies and mosquitoes or whatnot. So they're making their way down the path. And so this is the first images or first video I got of them, you know, walking towards the camera just like I expected. Okay, so this guy decided to stick around a little while, and it really is kind of interesting. He's got this brown coat going on. That coat is going to change to gray once the winter comes in, and he's just walking down the path like I expected and then moving on, going about his business. So this is the next images or the next video that I had that showed up on my trail camera. This is a mother and her two fawns. And you notice there's a tree that's sitting right there. That tree fell during the week or two that I left the trail camera out there. And she usually walks down this path, I'm sure. And she's brought her two kids, if you will, brought them with her. And then I was like, look at all this good green leaves. You know, this is great. So we walked down the path and look at what we found. And again, she's got that brown coat going on. She's going to lose that. Both are going to lose that once the winter time comes in. So they're just enjoying a good meal and they're just having a good time. And they'll probably be there for just a few minutes right before they move on. And I'm going to give a little close up here so you can see what they look like close up, the fawns and the fawn and the doe. Just good camera positioning, good camera setup. So this is one of the key things I look for. Put the camera on a trail and just wait for them to come by, because they will come by once you identify a trail that the deer walk on a regular basis. Okay, so I did the same thing here. I placed the camera on a path, only this time I placed it slightly overhead. This deer just happens to stop. And if you're fortunate, you can get some footage of not only the deer walking on the path and stopping on the path, but also you can get some deer actually running, as I show in these next two clips. Okay, so tip number 3 that I recommend is that you place the camera on a scrape. You focus the camera on a scrape. A scrape is a tree that they will come by, even a telephone pole, where they go and they rub their foreheads up against the object, usually a branch, tree, whatever, a limb, and so forth. And they leave their scent there. That's what they call a signposting. That lets other deer in the area know that I've stopped by here. This is my territory. You don't want to come over here. And they usually stop by this same tree, you know, year after year. And they have what they call the seven day rule, where a buck will come by and If he's there the beginning of September, he'll come by within 7 days, the beginning of September, the following year. So this guy has set up shop, if you will, getting some scrapes in. And you actually see the little fox back there, if you can notice that. Lets us know that foxes don't always aren't really particularly bothered by deer, and deer aren't really particularly bothered by foxes, unless they're babies, of course. And so set it up on a scrape, and you're bound to get some good footage there. And in this next clip, it shows that a different deer has come by, and it's the same tree, and is scraping up against the tree, leaving his mark there. So it's just good to be aware of where the deer are going, where they're walking, what trail they're going to go on, where they're going to be scraping. And if you set the camera on a spot where there's been some previous scrapes, then you're bound to get some good footage there too. Tip number 4, focus your camera on a large area. It's kind of like putting a wide angle lens on your digital SLR if you have one, or just back the camera up so you get a sweeping landscape. That way you have more chances for deer to walk by, run by. And check out this footage of the deer moving from left to right and right to left in these next 2 clips. My 5th and final recommendation, I'll use a 2-camera setup. That's my tip number 5. And if you use a 2-camera setup, you can get the deer running in one direction, and then you get the second camera will pick them up running in the opposite direction or in the same direction. So I'm actually going to slow this footage down so you can see what happens when you edit footage from 2 cameras together, and how cool it looks and how it really can give a different and interesting effect. So that's it. In this video, I shared my top 5 tips to get some really cool trail cam video of deer. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel.